guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and we're going to be showing off the 10 games that are in my PS5 collection so far. So, yes, this is my 10 game milestone. I consider this one a milestone because we are just getting into this generation. It is only a year old at this point, and games are still expensive. I made a video for 10 games for my Series X. I'm now making a video since I hit the milestone for 10 on my PS5. The difference between the PS5 and the Series X with me when collecting is that the Series X is my main system for the third parties since it is the more powerful console, and the PS5 is more of a secondary system for me to get their exclusives as well as games that have exclusive content on PlayStation. So for example, I get something like Call of Duty on PlayStation since Sony has a deal with Activision with the Call of Duty games, where back then on the Xbox 360, I would get the Xbox 360 version of the game and be able to get that content a month early. They shifted over when Black Ops 3 came out. So, yeah, let's get directly into looking at my PS5 collection so far. So yeah, 10 games in a collection isn't necessarily a big amount of games when you're considered a collector, but the reason why I consider this a decent milestone is when you consider the price of these games, it's basically as if you had like a 40 to 50 game collection for something like the 360, PS3, PS2, or even original Xbox. So these games are still very expensive since it is a new generation, and most of the time when I got these games, they were newer. However, I have secured some of these around the Black Friday area, and I will say that I definitely expanded on this collection once this year's Black Friday hits. So first game on the list that we're going to be looking at is Call of Duty Vanguard. So I really don't know what to think about this game 100% yet. From what I've played at the campaign, it kind of seemed like it was going to be very interesting, and then it kind of went down a little bit, and then it went back up and then down, and I don't know. I'm not very interested in it. I haven't really continued it ever since I played this for the second time. As much as for the zombies, it's a little different. I haven't really got myself crazy into it yet, but then again, I haven't had a lot of time in play in general, so maybe I will end up liking the zombies of this generation. And as for the multiplayer, I haven't even touched it yet. I'm not a major multiplayer guy anymore, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to be doing the multiplayer on this at all, considering I've pretty much been burnt out on the Call of Duty games for a long time, and I'm really just playing for the zombies. But yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this game 100% yet. Definitely going to keep it in my collection. Don't know if I'm going to get it on Xbox as well. Might just stick to having it on the PS5. But yeah, overall right now, the game just feels pretty okay at best. It's not a great game. It's not a bad game. I think it's just, we're pretty much getting sick of the Call of Duty franchise at this point. So next up, we have Deathloop. So I actually really like this game so far. This is one that I'm actually currently playing through right now. This is the disc that is in my PS5 as the making of this video, and I'm liking it a decent amount so far. I had a feeling I was going to because I was starting to enjoy Returnal. I didn't really get far in that game, but I was enjoying what I played. But this one just seems to be a really fun game. I mean, Bethesda is a great company. They've been known for their good games, and that may just be why I'm jumping into this one so positively thinking. It is a game I've actually been looking forward to for quite a long time, and I'm interested to keep playing it. I mean, the game is difficult to me, but I'm just bad at video games, so it may not be that difficult to other people. But yeah, having a lot of fun with it so far. I love the concept that you die, come back to life, start from a point. It could get frustrating after a while, but I mean, it is a pretty cool concept for a game. And like I've said in previous videos, I really think it would be cool to see how other developers for their games could implement something like this. So yeah, let's look at the next one. So I'm going to be covering 3 games in this clip just because I haven't had any time to really play them at all, so I'm just going to show them right here. We've got the Death Stranding Director's Cut, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, and Nioh the Collection. So haven't played Nioh at all, so we're going to put this one to the side in general just because really haven't actually played any of the Nioh games, and I haven't even put this game into my PS5 yet. But as for Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima, basically with Death Stranding, I saw this one at E3 when it was coming to PS4 and was really excited for it. So got it on PS4, never ended up playing it, never had any time to sit down and play it, and it ended up kind of just sitting there, and it really wasn't long before the director's cut was announced that I got it. So when it was announced, I was like, fuck it, I'll just wait for the PS5 version and keep the PS4 version on my shelf. Same situation for Ghost of Tsushima. I actually did start this game on a PS4, but it wasn't my PS4. It was at a gaming cafe that my friend used to work at. They had the game available to play, and I played through a little bit of it for about maybe 2 to 3 hours at most. while I was there on their PS4, and I thought it was really cool, so I wanted to get the game for myself. Same situation as Death Stranding. I got it not long before it was announced for the PS5, and when the PS5 version got announced, I said again, you know what, fuck it, I'll wait. I know both of these games actually had the PS5 upgrade from the PS4 versions, because they improved some frame rate stuff when the PS5 first came out, but I never ended up jumping on those versions. I told myself I was going to wait for the director's cut, since I feel like if I played it on the PS4, I probably would have been done with it and wouldn't want to play it again. For some reason, with Sony exclusives to me, I play them once and then I wait a few years to play them again, because the replayability is just weird in that way to me. I don't know what it is. It may be because most of the games are pretty challenging, where stuff like Microsoft games aren't the most challenging. Like Halo series, I can play over and over and over again. I mean, when it comes to the campaigns of those, they aren't insanely challenging. They're fun to go back and do certain challenges. I've said challenge so much in these sentences, whatever. But yeah, it's different with Sony exclusives to me, where I will basically play them and then not play them for a while and have a major nostalgia trip whenever I jump back on them again. For example, I finished Uncharted 4 back in like 2017. I recently just replayed it again in like the beginning of 2021, and I'm going to be finishing it once again once it gets remastered to the PS5. So yeah, I mean, that's all I can really say about these games right now. Haven't had a lot of time to play them. The one I'm most excited to play out of all of them, though, is the Death Stranding one. This is the only one I actually started out of the three that I just showed now. So yeah, guys, let's look at the next games. So right here we have Demon Souls, and I like the Souls series, I just absolutely suck at them. I started this game when I first got it on my birthday, and I think I put it down as soon as like I went an hour in, just because I absolutely sucked at this game. I suck at all the Souls games. I attempted Dark Souls 3 for like a year and put that down after just being stuck in one area, and I pretty much put this one down after an hour. So one of my coworkers has been like pushing me to really jump into this series, and the whole thing is I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and especially learn new video games. So to be able to get past that learning part of the game is probably going to be pretty hard. I don't know if I'm ever going to have time to do it, but if I do, it's definitely going to be on this version, because this one looks really good on the PS5. And yeah, if I'm going to get into the Souls series, this is the one I'm going to start on, and potentially Bloodborne as well. So next up, we have the launch edition of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and this one actually was my most anticipated PS5 game when the console was announced. So was very excited for Miles Morales, was especially excited for this one. I really enjoyed the Ratchet & Clank remake on PS4. Never playing a Ratchet & Clank game before, that one really introduced me into the series and made me want to explore the franchise more. So when I heard that they were making another Ratchet & Clank game, this time being on a next-gen console and basically taking advantage of the power of the PS5, I pretty much was all in on that one. So I had this one pre-ordered from as soon as it was available to pre-order. I got it day one, and unfortunately I still haven't finished it, but from what I've played so far, this is probably my favorite Ratchet & Clank game so far. I mean, I really have only played 3 of them, one on the PS3, which I can't remember the name of, the remake on PS4, and this one, but so far this is my favorite one of the bunch. I think everything about this game is just really cool. I like the storyline, I like the gameplay, I like the visuals. It really overall is just an amazing game, and I can't wait to eventually jump on it and finish it. So I already mentioned this one when talking about Deathloop. Similar kind of concept. You die and then loop back to the beginning, while also still progressing in the game when looping back to that point. I mean, it is an interesting game, I must say. It is very challenging, so I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and play it. And when talking about it, this is probably the most underrated game on the PS5 so far. I mean, I haven't really heard any customers talk about it. The only people I've heard talk about this were my actual coworkers that have played the game, and they've said that this one is really good. So I want to get myself into it a little more, just haven't had a lot of time to sit down and play everything, as I've said so many times in this video at this point. But it definitely is a really cool concept. And as for the studio that developed this game, I'm pretty sure Sony acquired them after this game came out. It could have been before. I may be having a false memory, but Housemarque, I know, is under Sony now. So yeah, very interesting game, very similar to Deathloop, but at the same time the play style is very much different. So it's definitely not like a Bethesda sort game. It kind of reminds me of a mix of Dark Souls, Destiny, and Aliens Fireteam Elite, but that's just me. So anyway, guys, let's look at the last 2 games on this list. Next up, we have Sackboy: A Big Adventure. So this one was kind of a game that a lot of people considered to be the game that held them over until Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart came out, and I can kind of see how they think that. It very much is a similar kind of game to something like you would see in the Ratchet and Clank series. It follows the same kind of gameplay style, but at the same time, it is very different and probably not nearly as good as something like the Ratchet and Clank games. But I have been having a lot of fun with it so far. It is honestly the first Little Big Planet game that I have actually played. Technically, I started Little Big Planet 3 on the PS4 when it was free with PlayStation Plus, but I didn't really get far, so I wouldn't really count that one at all. This one is technically my first Little Big Planet game in general. This one is kind of cool. I mean, I could have definitely seen myself play this before Ratchet and Clank came out as well, but the funny part is I actually got this game after I got Ratchet and Clank, so yeah, it didn't hold me over. It's definitely not as good as Ratchet and Clank, but it definitely is something that the entire family can enjoy if you're looking to play something with your kids on the PS5. So the last game that I'm going to be showing is my favorite game that I've actually played so far on the PS5. Hell, this game is probably in my top 5 favorite games of all time, and that would be Spider-Man Miles Morales. So this was the first actual PS5 game that I got. When I first got my system, I actually ended up just playing some of my PS4 back catalog on there, as well as playing whatever PlayStation Plus was giving me. So in terms of PS5 games, this was the first one that I actually got. I waited all the way till Christmas to get this gifted from my parents. So I fell in love with this game immediately. I loved Spider-Man 2018 and everything, but I feel like Miles Morales, his moveset was a ton better, and although the game was a lot shorter, it was supposed to be that way, and I felt like it was a perfect kind of game to play through. Hell, I've played through this game 2 times now. It really is an amazing game. Haven't 100%ed it yet, but I plan to eventually do that. And I know as of the past few months, they also updated this to have some better ray tracing effects than there were at launch, so that's also a plus. I mean, like I said, this is one of my favorite games of all time, but I am very excited to see how Spider-Man 2 is going to be. I have my hopes up. I don't want to have them up because typically when I do, I get disappointed in the end, but I'm looking forward to whatever's going to happen next. So alright guys, that was everything in my PS5 collection at the moment. We're obviously going to be expanding on this collection as time goes on because I really am loving my system, and well, as a collector and as a gamer, I'm just going to keep getting games for the system as long as they are good. So in terms of this entire stack of games right here, my favorite games definitely have to be Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, and for my number 3 spot, I can't really say that it's going to stay that way forever, but I probably have to put Sackboy at that spot. I know it's a weird game to put there, but I just haven't had a lot of time to play the other games just yet, so guarantee some game will take that spot. It's probably going to be Deathloop or maybe even Ghost of Tsushima, but regardless, I've been having a lot of fun with the system so far. I really feel like it's a great system for me to collect for, and I'm really hoping that the rest of the generation is going to be this good, because the PS4, as I've stated before, is my favorite system of all time, so jumping onto the PS5, I'm hoping that this console takes a spot, and if this console doesn't take the spot, I hope something like the Series X does. So anyway guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one.